Good afternoon, everybody. It's me, Mitch. How's everybody doing? Good to see you. Let's get rid of that music. Punctual as ever. How are you, my friends? Good to see you. Well, we got a nice little turnout for first thing. I've been sitting here watching the chat. Aunt B wanted to know where Walter was, so I showed her. She then thanked me for that. I try to keep on top of this as best a one-arm paper hanger can. So I hope you're all having a nice day. It's beautiful here. We're supposed to have thunderstorms, but so far so good. No thunderstorms, no lightning, no power failures, no interrupted live streams yet in sight. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Something just went ding on my computer, and I have no idea what it was. Let me turn off the notification dinger on my phone here so that I don't get this thing going ding all day, which it has a tendency to do. Sometimes I feel like pitching that thing into the canal, but I don't. I actually like those dings. They mean I get emails. Sometimes people buy me a coffee and it goes ka-ching, and I like that sound. And I assume everybody knows about that. I appreciate that. Before we start, let me just tell you, I'm not a doctor. I'm not credentialed to give medical advice. It was pointed out to me in a comment the other day that I don't know anything. I know nothing, and I'm totally unqualified to talk about any health-related issues. Unlike doctors, and I mean this is the way that she worded it, unlike doctors, I did not sit through 7 years of medical school learning all this stuff. So how dare I actually talk like I know something? And that's why I have a disclaimer and I tell you I know nothing. Listen to me at your own peril. Take my advice only with the extremest of caution, because I never went to medical school. How could I have learned that fruits, vegetables, and whole grains are the healthiest foods we can eat? Where would I have learned that? How else would I have learned how to get on my computer, type in a few symptoms, and have artificial intelligence recommend a list of 6 prescriptions that I need to make you take immediately? How else would I have learned that? I'm being sarcastic, you know. There you go. Carb Free for Life says, you didn't sit through 7 years of corporate brainwashing. It's not even corporate brainwashing these days. It's Adventist healthcare, vegetarian, breakfast cereal brainwashing. And evidently, they have done a pretty good job, because 99+% of the humans on this planet have squeaky clean brains that have been washed thoroughly. And no way to get over that, not in a single lifetime. So at any rate, that's my disclaimer. You know that I talk to you about my own experiences, what I'm doing at 77 years old, that I'm in the best shape and the best health of my life. And it all started 2 years ago. In earnest, it started 2 years ago when I went full carnivore. All the cravings went away. You know the story. You've all heard the story. And it's up to you to decide. My father always used to say to me, when you hear anything, the most important thing for you to do is consider the source. I've tried to do that my whole life. It's helped me wade through an unimaginable amount of BS, but it does help. Consider the source. And if you believe the source, believe what you see with your own eyes, Forget that old saying, don't believe your lying eyes, because that's what the propagandists tell you. Don't believe what you actually see or experience. Believe me, because I'm smarter and I know better. Steve Studley says, I rebooted and still no sound. Can you all hear me, I hope? I guess you probably can, because you've commented on my disclaimer. And nobody has said, we can't hear you, Mitch. So, Steve, God knows why you have no sound, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. We have 2 new members of the private community. We have Tracy Shaw. Thank you so much, Tracy. And I saw you in the chat, so I know that you're here. I appreciate that. We'll look forward to meeting you on Thursday night in the private community. And I encourage you to click on the link that we put up and join the panel. We had a great one last Thursday night. We had a great one. So thank you so much. And I saw another one here. Let me find it. Boy, there's a lot of chat already. Here it is, Laser Unfocused. Laser Unfocused became a YouTube member, and I saw in the chat also that Laser Unfocused is thinking about reactivating his unused YouTube channel to become a carnivore YouTuber. My advice to you, Laser Unfocused, tongue-in-cheek, of course, is be careful what you wish for. Sorry. Sorry. No. I will give you the same exact advice that Ken Burry gave me exactly 1 year ago this week at Keto Orlando Summit, where I'll be going this coming Friday. The advice he gave to me when I asked him, basically, I have a YouTube channel I haven't used for quite a while, and I'm turning it into a carnivore YouTube channel. Do you think the world needs yet another carnivore YouTube channel? And his answer to me, encouragingly, was, we can't have too many people spreading the word of this. So, my friend, I encourage you, maybe you have more fortitude than I do to put up with the downsides of doing this, but I encourage you to do it. I, of course, will wish you the best of luck and success in it. And as I've always tried to do with people who are my viewers who go that route, I will try to support you in any way that I can. So we'll see you too on Thursday night in the private community, and we'll talk some more about it. Been an interesting day. I won't talk much about it, but I'm sure a lot of you have seen the video I put out there this morning, and I share things with my viewers, with you guys, that I don't think most YouTubers actually share. I share my feelings, I share my personal thoughts, my experiences doing this. I suppose, and I've pretty well self-diagnosed myself, and maybe as a brief explanation of why I just can't be tough enough to say F off to people who write nasty comments, criticize me, disagree with me in a mean manner, like most people can. Most people don't care what other people think. They don't care what criticisms. I envy those people. My life has not dumped me off with that attitude. I've been beaten pretty badly, not physically, but building and losing three businesses over a lifetime, having your employees backstab you. I have stories that would curl your hair. Stories of people that you've helped, that you've given a start to, people that you've loaned money to when they had a problem and never got paid back, people that you've sent a paycheck to every week, who then turn around go to work for one of your customers because they offered them $10 more than you're paying them, bad-mouthing you, stealing that customer's business away to some other company, and I've had that happen to me a couple times. Betrayal. I'm very sensitive to people that are two-faced and use you. And when the opportunity's right, they screw you. I've lost big businesses, you know this. I've lost big businesses to deceit and, what's even worse, to politics. I've had, honest to God, I've had aggressive politicians. I had a large enough company in Central Florida that the big boys all wanted to take my business away from me. And some of them resorted to politics. They buddied up with their buddies in the newspaper and printed things about me, trying to make me seem like a crook when I was the most honest guy in business. That's how I got all the business. I've been on the wrong side of politics. I've been on the attack side of politics. I know how it feels. I don't like it. But I'll tell you what, I do know the scheming and the tactics of it, which is why every time I hear the lies and the propaganda and the gaslighting in any political manner, my stress level goes up. And that's PTSD. Whenever I'm insulted, whenever I'm blamed for doing something I didn't do, whenever my intentions are questioned, that's PTSD. I can't help that. No more than the Vietnam vet can help having a panic attack when a firecracker goes off near them. That affects you for life. And I'm stuck with it. And along with the sensitivity that it brings, which is, as a matter of explanation, to those of you that are watching here, the few of you that I know really appreciate what I do, and I thank you for that, try to understand that the only way that I can combat or fight against these things is to rant against them. It's a safety valve. It allows me to let off steam. And this morning I turned off the comments in that video. There weren't any comments necessary. No questions about diet would have come up. It was pure, this is about Mitch and what Mitch has gone through this morning. I figured if anybody wanted to really tell me something, I am the most reachable YouTuber on planet Earth. Ask anybody that has ever sent me an email. My email address is everywhere. It's in the description of my YouTube video. It's on my website. It's in the description of every video that I publish. oldguycarnivore@gmail.com. When you send me a Gmail, if I'm not in the middle of something I can't be interrupted, which doesn't happen very often, maybe filming a video, you will usually get a reply back from me right then. Because that's the easiest way for me to deal with these things. Nobody can claim that I hide behind any anonymity or that I'm unreachable. And I figured that if anybody had anything important to say to me or an important question to ask me about that video where I turned off the comments, which I'm not going to do. That's only the second time I've ever done that. Email me. Don't email me in the middle of a live stream and expect an answer, but email me. At worst case, I'll get back to you later that day. And on one or two occasions over the last year, it actually kind of got buried with me being busy and I answered the next day. But I have never failed to answer an email. Now, sometimes if you send me an email and I answer you, and you write me a comment back without a question, somebody's got to have the last word. I let you have the last word in that case. Doesn't mean I don't always read your final replies. Wow, busy day for the private community. Who else we got? I see a couple more here. Now I have to scroll all the way down the chat, and I haven't even started saying hello to you guys yet. Oh, we have Cabrera, thank you, my friend. A new YouTube member, I appreciate it. Our community is growing. Our YouTube community is growing. These are the members right now. And I think it's about 160 of you. I appreciate that, and we have a great time on Thursday night. I had a ball. Just so you know, those Thursday night private community live stream where you guys come in to a panel with me and I get to sit around with you and just talk about things, all kinds of oddball things. It's just like having friends over, are so therapeutic for me, someone who's alone virtually all the time, that I hope you know how much I appreciate it. Last week, we had 5 of us in the panel, 6 altogether, me and 5 people, and we had a great time. And it went, I looked up, it was already 2 hours into the live stream, and we were still going. I finally cut it off around 9:15, which is 2.5 hours. So I appreciate that, and I also see another one here. We have Sue Hall also became a member. So wow, this is something unusual. Four new people today. Thank you and welcome, and good to see you, and hope you enjoy it. Okay, let me. That's enough of me telling you why I'm so skittish and so easily hurt and offended by people that are mean and nasty and thieving whores. I just have been a victim of that all my life. I don't ever come on like a victim. I don't scream victim. I don't look for compensation from those people that have ruined my businesses or stole from me. I pick myself up, I move on, and try to rebuild again. And that's what I've done with this YouTube thing. This is yet another attempt to come back from the dead. Take what talent and knowledge I have, put it to some use, try to earn a little money to supplement my Social Security. Because of all those other things that happened to me, I ended up being old with no retirement. A lot of you out there who are my age or nearing my age have found yourselves in the same boat. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible to wake up one day and say, I have to live on Social Security. My expenses are going up 15% a year or more. My Social Security has gone up 2 or 3% a year. My entire Social Security increase and then some was gobbled up just by the community raising the rent on the space where my house sits. Because that's in this mobile home community. I own the house, but I still have to rent a lot, and they keep raising that like crazy. And then my car insurance almost doubled in the past couple of years. My homeowner's insurance almost tripled. I mean, it's crazy. Food prices. A ribeye went from $7 a pound to $14 a pound. But according to our U.S. government, that's only 3% inflation. We're crazy. We're crazy. Our government is doing such a bang-up job of managing our economy. Tell that to the bank. Tell that to my checkbook. So this YouTube thing for me, it's not making me rich. In fact, interestingly enough, most of the money that I actually end up earning on YouTube, I spend on shit and appliances and stuff and cameras and computer equipment to better do the job. That's a business expense. And when I'm accused of you're just in it for the money, it just makes me crazy, because all my life and every business I've ever had, my first priority was to make my customers happy, to give them the best deal that I could give them and still make it worthwhile even doing, and assuming any liability that might be attached to that deal, any warranty service, anything like that. And it's why I was successful in business, because my customers valued that. They didn't see that in many people. I bring that same attitude here to YouTube. If I didn't think I had some value, and that's not being conceited or bloviating. That is what I know from what you've told me over the past year. How many comments I've gotten saying things like, Mitch, you saved my life. Mitch, I failed and failed until I took your advice. Mitch. And I know that it works. Not because of what you tell me, because of what I've experienced. 75 years of failing, of not being able to maintain weight loss, of always binging again and falling back to square one. And finally, after I figured it all out, why it wasn't working, and blamed addiction as the number one cause of failure. And when I learned that just knowing how to do a carnivore diet doesn't mean anything. Of course you need to know how. Just learning what to eat doesn't mean anything. Of course you have to know what to eat. You have to know the rules. But still, most people cannot get past the addiction. Just knowing how to do it doesn't mean you're able. And I figured out certain ways and certain tricks and certain techniques to get over that hump, and it worked for me, and that's what I'm here spreading around. Anyway, thanks for coming, everybody. We got about, well, I see, looks like I'm scaring people away now. Was up to over 100, now I'm down to 93, so I guess people don't like to hear me talking like that, so I'll stop. Let me start saying hi to some people. Cliff Medina was here, first one in, and Pop, how you doing? Thank you so much for that. United Carnivore, greetings from Tampa Bay. And we have Kenneth Bates, very complimentary. Thank you so much. United Carnivore, again, just checking to see if updates on the meetups. No, I'm going to start working on that as soon as I'm done with the Keto Orlando Summit next week. So stick around. We'll try to figure something out. He also posted this pretty little neat little hint for Sam's Club. He told me something I didn't know. I did know that they mark the meat down when the use by date is 3 days away. I didn't know that if you find meat like that, you can go get the manager, tell him this should be marked down, and he'll mark it down right there for you. I will try that. Drone Shots, my buddy Jody is here. How you doing, Jody? Good to see you. And Tracy, who just joined the private community. Hey, from Georgia. Richard Williams. From Copper Hill, Tennessee. Always a regular. Good to see you. And Laser Unfocused. Hi, Mitch. Hi, all. Also a new member. And he says, I like this Saturday live stream. I can't watch the others. It's the middle of the night for us in the UK. Yes, this is for you guys. This is one of the main reasons I thought a Saturday afternoon one would be good. You're the only ones, or the majority of the ones, those of you in Europe, that it's just no good to watch something in the evening on the East Coast. Australia, it's already tomorrow. They can watch my 8 o'clock live stream in the morning over there. Everybody in the United States can watch it, but you poor people in Europe should be in bed. Steve Studley, hope you got your sound working. Good afternoon to you. And CB is here. CB Carmack, he was in our little live stream Thursday night. Enjoyed seeing you there. Jerry Vajtas, hello from Ponte Vedra Beach. Did I say it right this time? Juan from Chile coached me on the proper Spanish pronunciation, which I knew. I just, if I could slow down sometime during these live streams and actually take the time to read it carefully, I would have seen that. And who else we got here? And I'm not going to say hi to everybody, just the early birds, Cliff and Steve. Less junk, more health says hi to me. That is a great handle. I like that. Carla Sampson. Hiya, Carla. How are you doing? Ken W. While beatings are easily administered in comments, resonance is much harder to express. I resonate with Mitch. Thank you, my friend. Very kind of you to say. Chelsea Oates. How you doing, Chelsea? Good to see you. And here we have Esther Vetti Hunter. Esther Vetti Hunter. That is a very unusual name. Good to see you. Thanks for coming from Smithfield, North Carolina. Here's a great name. Proud American. Yes, sir. So am I. Good to see you. I'll take all the proud Americans in here that I can get. Christina Howleg. How you doing, Christina? From the UK, Cornwall. Good to see you. And Morhan is here. Hiya, Morhan. Good to see you. I remember some of these names. Agent 87 is here. And who else haven't I said hi to? Aunt B. Aunt B was in here. Where's Walter, your bald double? And if you were here during the intro, you would have seen that I grabbed Walter, held him up to the camera, because I was reading the chats. And we have the Neil Q. Good afternoon, Mitch. I'm Lincoln, UK. First time catching the live stream actually live. Well, welcome, my friend. I hope you enjoy it. It is generally a free-for-all. Completely unplanned and unscripted, as are most of my videos, believe it or not. I have never written a script for a speech I've ever given in any of those videos. I don't care if the speech was an hour long. It still just came right out of me, unrehearsed. I don't know why I can do that, but I somehow managed to do it. Charger Mopar, how you doing, my friend? Quack, quack from the Duck Pound. And who else? Any more new people that I haven't said hi? Linda Lentz, how you doing, Linda, from Western Pennsylvania? How about that? My sister lives in Pittsburgh, probably somewhere in your vicinity. Kenneth Bates says, hi, everyone. Cabrera, who joined the community, says, Mitch, hoping you're having a great afternoon. Tell you, my friend, I have a hard time doing these live streams where I'm just not feeling great, optimistic, having fun. I love it. I love it. I have decided that I just need to, and I know I need to, what I need to do about these comments. They shouldn't bother me. They're from idiots. They're from nasty people. I should know that. I wish I could just turn the sensitivity off. I'd love to admit, I'm a tough guy. Call me any name you want. You know. I hate to block anybody. I hate to delete anybody's comment. I believe everybody has the right to their opinion, has the right to say how they feel. But what you don't have the right to do is hurt somebody. Nobody has the right to do that. That's not a right. Where we get all these rights we think we have, I have no idea. But we all think we got them. Nick Sheehan is here. How you doing, Nick? From England, good to see you. And we have Mimi from Michigan. Might just use the frying pan you recommended and love it. Yes, that is a great one. I think you're talking about the Mueller. Everybody that's bought those has raved about them. And they are indeed not poisonous. They're not going to kill you. I get so tired of hearing comments. How can you recommend frying pans that have that Teflon in them? Okay. You know who puts out that most of those posts? The stainless steel frying pan salesman. Stainless steel frying pans, guaranteed to stick every time. Guaranteed to wear you out, scrubbing them with Brillo pads. We don't need that. We have other ways to make life easier. And you've seen me make bacon and eggs in that Mueller pan. You've seen me cook the bacon, leave some bacon grease in there, pour some out, throw the eggs in, the eggs soak up all the remaining grease, slide the egg out, the pan is clean. I take a paper towel, I wipe it out a little bit, I don't even get it wet. You don't need to. That little coating of bacon grease left on the pan would take months before it would go rancid somehow and hurt you. It's great. It's like putting tallow on your face as face cream. It's good for the pan. Animal fat is good for your skin. How did we get so misled on all this crap? Carla Simpson, how you doing? Doing the countdown for me. So we are right now up to the point where I actually started the show. All of those people that I said hello to were here before 3 p.m. I love it. I love it. And then the rest of it we have, here's some new people, but I'm going to call this part of it here. Paulo Matos, Grandma Prepper is here. How you doing from South Carolina? Nick Sheeson, how you doing, my friend? Saying hi to Aunt B. Lambs is here. Hiya, Lambs. How you doing? Good to see you. And, Proud Americans in Florida. Thunderstorms every day in the summer. Yes, I'm in Florida, and yes, if you don't like the weather, wait a minute. That's what they say down here. David Ken, how you doing? From Leroy, Michigan. You live in a town named Leroy. That's interesting. Welcome to you. P.O. Henriksen from Sweden. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Good to see you from Sweden. And Mimi from Michigan. We got them from all over the place. Carb free for life. You didn't sit through 7 years of corporate brainwashing. Yes, sir, my friend. My thoughts exactly. And I didn't delete that comment or hide that user that told me I was totally unqualified, shouldn't be giving any advice. I don't know anything because I didn't go to school for it. I got news for you. The smartest people in the world didn't learn what they know in school. Not that I admire him that much or his politics, but Bill Gates has no college degree. I'm not certain about this. I don't think Elon Musk has a college degree either. And based on some of the people that used to come and ask me for jobs, and there were hundreds of them, I found the college degrees were the last thing I looked for when I was trying to find real talent, real creativity, and real knowledge. And I don't have a college degree either. And I'll put my knowledge on most subjects against anybody that does. So that comment was a real insult to me. But again, I need to toughen up. I wish I could. Who else we got? I think that's enough. I'm seeing the same names here. So let me do this. I did see a couple of questions in the comments. Let me take 1 minute. Let me take 1 minute and get a little commercial on you. A shameless plug. A quick one if you don't mind. A couple months ago, I decided to go full time, to turn down outside work that I had been doing over the years in computer programming, website design, computer graphics design. Even though I got paid well for it, I didn't enjoy it. It was drudgery for me. This YouTube thing went up and I love doing it. It's a passion for me. I would rather make 1/3 the money that I could and really enjoy and look forward to getting out of bed and getting to it. Because that's what makes life worth living. And that's what I decided to do. To do that, for all practical purposes, I took a hell of a pay cut. I need to make money because life screwed me over. I've told that story many times, and any of you who don't know me, who are new, which is I think a lot of you, go back on my channel, go back to the tab at the top that says live streams, go back to my first live stream, and right on the thumbnail it says first live stream. It was almost a year ago, and watch that live stream. I took more than a half an hour in that live stream and told every detail of my life from the time I got out of the Army, all the businesses, everything I've done, where I learned what I learned, how I learned what I learned, how I know what I know about medicine, about biochemistry, about all of the related subjects to diet and nutrition, why I'm confident that there isn't anybody on YouTube doing it like I do it, certainly not as old as I am, certainly who hasn't had the life experiences that I've had. And I went through the whole mess, and I did it again another time after that. But if you want to know, go watch it. I think, like most people told me, that they were spellbound listening to me tell the story of my life. And it's been a colorful, an amazing one. I don't regret, even though I had a lot of bad luck, wrong place at the right time. I don't regret a minute of it. I wouldn't have done anything differently. Knowing what I know now, I would have still done exactly what I did. I honest to God, I'm a happy, you might not know it, sometimes I don't act that way, but I am a relatively happy individual. I have great kids. I have a good life. But unfortunately, I got stuck with no retirement other than Social Security, which I had to take at the reduced rate at 62 because I had no income. And basically, you can't live on that. You have to supplement it. You either have to have kids to support you, you have to get a job, you have to become a Walmart greeter for no money. Because at 77 years old, you can't get hired anywhere. There are no job postings for 77 years old. There are no career availability for 77-year-old. No company is going to hire you at 77 years old. Spend the kind of money to get you ready to do the job that they need you to do when they don't expect you to live past 77 years old. It's just not happening out there. We old people who haven't been real fortunate in life, who are facing what almost all people face today, and that is no retirement. Most young people today have no retirement, are not planning one, can't afford to put away for one, don't work for companies that have these fabulous retirement plans that they had back 40 years ago. Do you know that in my community here, there are 3 or 4 retired sanitation workers from New York City who get $150,000 a year retirement. They are driving the most expensive cars. They're living the biggest lives. They're cruising every other week. They were garbage collectors. Now, I wouldn't have wanted to trade places with them, but they were government employees. And the government employees these days are the only retirees that can have a big life on the taxpayer. They have a big life. That was the only mistake that I made when I got out of the Army, when I got right out of the Army. I went to work for the federal government because I was stationed in Virginia, and I was the best electronics technician in a huge Army depot maintenance facility. I was the only guy who knew how to fix some of this esoteric and really expensive equipment. They offered me a fortune to re-enlist. I said, no, I don't want to be in the Army. I gave you four years of my life. I can do better than that. They offered me a fortune to re-enlist. I said no. Then they offered me a job. Now, at the time, I was a flight instructor. I was teaching flying at the Manassas Airport up in Manassas, Virginia, with my eye on becoming an airline pilot. So I said, yeah, I go to work for the government here. They started me off at I forget what it was, a GS 8 or GS10, something pretty good. I got a nice paycheck. They put me in charge of the whole entire depot. Had I stayed with the government, I would be sitting on the most amazing triple dipping retirement plan that ever lived right now. But that wasn't what I had planned for my life. I wanted to have my own business and be my own boss. I wanted to be an airline pilot. That didn't last too long. Back in 1970, the economy went to shit. The airlines were in trouble. They weren't hiring. They were furloughing pilots. The military was pumping out heavy transport turbine pilots, fighter pilots, with 10,000 hours of turbine time from the Vietnam era. They were, whatever airline jobs there were, these young mavericks were competing. I couldn't compete with them. I was a civilian pilot, flight instructor, commercial ticket. I couldn't compete with these military guys. There was no chance that I would ever get an airline job. Right place, wrong time. Story of my life. But I just went on and started figuring out how to be in business and did great for myself for a lot of years. Life throws you these curves. At any rate, what I was saying was all of that left me trying to live in my 70s, mid 70s to late 70s on Social Security. So I saw this YouTube as a way to pick up enough extra money every month. Takes a lot of work, and YouTube doesn't pay worth a darn. If you're a YouTube person and you don't have a couple 100,000 subscribers, you got to be making your money from somewhere else. So I tried to come up with ways that I could actually generate revenue for myself, pay my bills, have enough money to support this channel, to buy the things I needed to buy so that I could do the demonstrations and to try out the different cooking methods and buy the air fryers and buy the smokers and buy the cameras and buy the stuff that I needed to make sure that I did it professionally. And that's when I came up with the Amazon thing, with the links, because Amazon pays 3 times what YouTube pays for about the same amount of effort. And you people have been great with that. You have been using those links. It costs you nothing. And that's the kind of deal in business I always tried to make with my customers. If it wasn't a win-win, I didn't want to do it. If it wasn't a win-win transaction, there's only, and in my book, do I have a copy of it here? Not handy. In my book, I have a chapter about this, about transactions. There's 3 kinds of transactions. And I know I get off rambling, but maybe it's interesting, maybe it's not. Maybe it gives you a little insight into things. There are 3 types of transactions, and they're only, when 2 people enter into any transaction, you have a win-win, which of course is great. When 2 people make a deal and both of them come away winners, you need to strive for that. You have a win-lose. For somebody to win, somebody else has to lose. The majority of all transactions that occur, whether they involve money or anything else, in the human experience, are win-lose. Just about all financial transactions that involve investing in stock market, for somebody to win, somebody else has to lose somehow. So many investments are what they call a zero-sum game. Yes, stocks can appreciate in value, but they can also lose value. But when you're trading in markets like the commodities market, it's a zero-sum game. If you win, somebody else lost. That's the majority. Many more transactions are win-lose than they are win-win. And the third type of transaction, which absolutely takes 2 morons to enter into, is a lose-lose transaction. Think about that. Why would anybody want to enter into any kind of a deal where both of you end up losing? And you're thinking right now, I never heard of that. What? Give me an example of a lose-lose transaction. Well, how about a suicide bomber? That's how crazy you have to be. Somebody should at least come out on top of every deal. And the best deals are win-wins. And those are the deals that I've always tried to arrange in my life so that nobody would ever complain to me that I screwed them. I don't like to hear that. I don't do that. And that's why this Amazon thing appealed to me so much. My job here as a carnivore YouTuber is to try to give you tips and pointers of how to make this more doable for you. And if that involves a certain appliance that makes it real easy to cook, that I bought for myself and fell in love with and really enjoy, and I tell you how to get it, not only do I tell you how to get it, but I keep watching out for when the real deals on these things come along, when they're half price, and tell you that. And you buy them from Amazon, and you got say an air fryer that's going to make carnivore easier for you to do, less cleanup, less mess, better food, better cooking. And I show you how to do that on my YouTube channel. And Amazon doesn't charge you any more for it, but they pay me out of their profit a small commission. Then we all win. We all win. And that's why I have those Amazon links. I'm not a home shopping club. I'm not trying to give you commercials. But if I don't promote that, if I don't talk about it, if I don't put that little byline on my screen that tells you the website address and links to the stuff I use, nobody does it. Nobody has me in their mind every day, all day. Nobody thinks about me. I don't expect them to. So when I make a video, and not every video, when I'm walking around talking about a different subject, I'm not promoting Amazon. But when I'm in the kitchen cooking and showing appliances, yes, I'm going to do that. And I have to do that or I can't make a living doing this. And if I can't make even a meager living doing it, I can't waste my time. My time has to support me. I want to do this. So indulge me when I seem to get a little mercenary or commercial. When I tell you that you can buy me a coffee. I did that for a reason. I put that up there for a reason. I even have a banner, being as crass and commercial as I am, right here. Buy me a coffee. And I have those links to buy me a coffee in a description of every video. And the reason I signed up with this Buy Me a Coffee was because I was getting so many comments and emails from people saying, Mitch, we like to support the YouTubers that we think benefit us, but I'll be damned if I'm going to let Google take 30% of the money that I give to you. Think about that. When you give me a super chat, Google gets 30%. And I see people giving me, and I'm going to acknowledge them pretty soon. I see a couple of super chats and super stickers popped up. I really appreciate those. But this Buy Me a Coffee thing, not only they take 5%, not 30, and they pay once a week instead of every. When you give me a super chat, I will get that money in around 2 months. And people know this. Now, I don't want to take anything away from Google. They earn every penny they do. They give me a platform to use. I can post as many videos. They don't charge me for this. I value them. I don't hold any of that money they make on the ads they run or anything against them. They have expenses too, and they're entitled to make money. But what a lot of people think about YouTubers is that we're supposed to do this for free. You're entitled to that. You deserve that. How dare we expect to actually be compensated for something of value that we give you. Whether anything that I do is of value is not for me to tell you. It's for you to decide on your own. And if something I do is of value to you, that's why I have this Buy Me a Coffee. And just to show you how out of sight, out of mind, last week I got maybe 15. No, I did get one person bought me 3 coffees because people buy you multiple coffees. In the past week, I probably made about $30 on this Buy Me a Coffee stuff. And while that is certainly appreciated, when I watch these big carnivore YouTubers and I watch the super chats go by and I watch hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Now, I've got one guy that gives me a ton of them, and I don't know why. I don't know who he is. He's very generous and a very nice guy. He must like me for some reason, and I appreciate it. But by and large, I get very few. Usually people will use a super chat just to get their question recognized. But before the end of every live stream, I go through the chat and look out and try to seek out every question. I don't need to be paid to answer a question. I don't charge for that. I don't do consultations, private consultations, and charge $150. I don't do private coaching. I monetize my channel with my Amazon links and this Buy Me a Coffee, period. And the small amount that YouTube pays us YouTubers for the ads that we run. And I make 30 to 40 bucks a day of ad revenue. Would you work 8, 10, 12, 14 hours a day for 40 bucks? That's what YouTube expects us to do. They expect us to monetize with other things as well. So I went on longer than I wanted, but that's my little shameless commercial. Thank you for listening. Thank you for not dropping out. And I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And if you don't think I'm worth a shit, don't give me anything. I don't want it. I don't want it. To me, any of those things, just say thank you. I don't have a menu out there. If you want me to smile at you, that's $3. And I'm still self-conscious whenever I have to talk about this stuff, believe it or not. Believe it or not. I don't know why. I don't know why. At any rate, we did get some super chats here. Let me see if I can find them on this thing and say thank you to these people. We have Sue. Sue Hull, thank you, $10 super sticker. Much appreciated. Thank you. And the Neil Q, $5 super sticker. Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. And how do you pronounce that? My Cummage? Wow, you can pronounce that a lot of different ways. Thank you so much. Thanks to all you. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. So, where was I? I was gonna look for questions now. I think I've got all the business out of the way. And I went up to the top of the chat, and I can use my Windows search function. I think I can anyway. Why isn't there? It is, and I can type Q, 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 and hit, there we go. Okay, laser unfocused. Question, will you do a video of the keto event? Don't go away. I need to go into the next room. I want to get something to show you. I will give you a musical interlude while I'm gone. And a be right back screen. Okay, I'm back. Thank you for waiting. I lost about 10 of you, it seems, but that's okay. That's okay. It's what I wanted to show you. So let me back up a little bit here. This bag. This bag is what I'll be carrying with me to the to the keto thing. It weighs probably 15 pounds. It's got in it 4 different cameras, 2 different 360 cameras. It's got a GoPro. It's got another 360 camera here. It's got audio equipment. It's got a portable mixer. It's got everything I need to not only record anything I might record, I can also live stream from there. And I intend to. At least I'm going to try. It all depends on what kind of internet connection I can get. I can always tether my cell phone, but sometimes in these buildings, a tethered cell phone connection doesn't have enough bandwidth to do a live stream. But I'm hoping the hotel's Wi-Fi has enough. I'm going to be there Friday all day and Saturday most of the day. And I'm going to be a busy boy. And I imagine that, unlike last year, somebody this year might actually recognize me because nobody knew who the hell I was last year. I had just started the Carnivore YouTube stuff. I had one video out there. I think one person actually did recognize me, but I think this year, even though I'm not going to be a speaker, nor do I want to be a speaker at any of these kind of events, and even though this is a keto-focused summit, and the reason they have to do a keto-focused summit, carnivore is a very small percentage of the actual low-carb community. All of the products that are being sold at the exhibition there are aimed at keto people. Keto treats and keto snacks and keto this and this supplement and that magic pill. But that's the purpose of these things. Focusing on carnivore only and eliminating keto from your discussion limits you to about 5 to 10% of a potential audience that you can have if you do both. It's why Ken Berry has 3 million subscribers and Sean Baker has 1/10 of that. And Anthony Chafee has 1/10 of that. Because Nisha and Ken focus on keto, ketovore, and carnivore. To eliminate the keto people would be suicide for a channel like that. Me, I guess like Chafee and Sean Baker, have to talk about what we really believe. And I've said many times, keto for most people can't work because keto can't address your addictions if you're addicted to sugar. There is no such thing as moderating an addictive substance. Period. Any addiction specialist will tell you that. You cannot moderate something you're addicted to. One taste and you're done. Alcohol, nicotine, certainly cocaine, heroin. Alcohol. Never heard an alcoholic being given the advice, if you limit yourself to only 2 thimblefuls of alcohol a day, you'll be fine. No, you can't do it. That was the kind of aha epiphany moment I had years ago about why I couldn't stick to this lifestyle. Even though I could do it, I would fall off of it very easily because I'm a sugar addict, which means I have to abstain. It means 0 carbs. The thought of that is as horrible to a carb addict as the thought of quitting drinking is to an alcoholic. You'll make any excuse not to do it. The good news is the carnivores are growing, and there were quite a few carnivores at the Keto Orlando Summit last year, and I have a funny feeling there'll be more carnivores there this year. Those are the people that might recognize me. The keto people, I got nothing for them. So yes, I plan on doing a video, and that appears to be the only question in the chat right now that has QQQ in it, according to this. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. I keep going down the chat and clicking the... And B says QQQ time for question mark. I don't know what that means. And it appears that I have those two that I can find in the chat. Let me scroll down a little bit more. So I don't have a lot of questions here, guys. Oh, here we go. Gardella says, question, way down at the bottom of the chat, just put it in there. Will you have a carnivore meet up there? Yes, we're going to. And I'm going to start planning it. I've been talking about it for a long time. I want to start planning it in earnest as soon as I'm done with this Orlando thing at the end of this coming week. We have a Brazilian steakhouse in a mall near me. I think I'm going to go there for lunch one day and check it out. I've been to Brazilian steakhouses. They are meat orgies. You've never seen so much meat, so many different kinds of meat served at one time. I've been told they have everything from New York strip to prime rib to basically every cut of meat that you could want. It costs $36, which is for lunch, but basically that's cheap for one of these steakhouses because most of them in Orlando, now I'm over in Melbourne here, but most of them in Orlando are in the tourist areas. My daughter and her family went to Disney because they live over on the West Coast, over north of Tampa, and they went to Disney this weekend. And she sent me a text the other night from the restaurant there. And that text said, in a restaurant in Disney, I just paid $56 for a ribeye, and it is horrible. I'm not surprised, but I could go to Sam's Club. I can buy a huge package of 3 inch-and-a-half thick ribeyes for around $50. Take them home, sous vide them, sear them in carbon steel, and have the best steak on the planet Earth. And that's why I don't go out to eat anymore. The last time I went out to eat was when my daughter and her family were over here visiting. It was one holiday. They were over here because we usually go there or they come here. My son is here, so they try to see each other like that. And we went out to eat to the Texas Roadhouse, which is supposed to be a meat kind of place. We've been to the Outback Steakhouse too. And it's nothing for them to charge $35 for a 8-ounce 8-ounce ribeye, $35. And they're terrible. I'm sorry. They're just, compared to how we spoil ourselves cooking for ourselves, they're absolutely terrible. Terrible. Aunt B says, QQQ was at the beginning of when you stated you are going to look for questions. I say the QQQ for questions. I get you. For the benefit of new people, I tried. Yes, you did, Aunt B. Thank you so much. I have no aunts that I know of that are still alive. If you would like, you can be my aunt. I'll tell everybody I have an Aunt B. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are great. Really. Laser. Laser. I think I'm going to have to call the carnivore police on you. Yeah. Ah, that's funny. That's funny. Papa Carnivore, how you doing? We met him in the private community. He was in the chat with us in the panel. It's great it's just a different experience as somebody who does what I'm doing, to put a face and a personality and a voice with a name that you keep seeing over and over, a name that you've corresponded with, a name that you've answered in comments. Finally, that name becomes a human being, and makes it a lot more personal. So it was great. Carb free for life. Were you the one that said you were on a canal in England? Was that you? Are you in a narrow boat? Because usually that's what that means. And for a while there, I got hooked on a couple of those YouTube channels with the guys doing the narrow boat thing, and it's fascinating. Anyway, do you think you'll be making your own bacon now that you've got a smoker? I am absolutely going to try. I'm going to have to go rejoin Costco again, although I could probably get pork belly elsewhere. But I get my glasses at Costco. Their optical department is one of the few that can really do it right for me. I was hardly buying anything at Costco. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy about the meat and the crowds there. The meat is good, but it seems very expensive. And they cut all their steaks like 2 inches thick. So every time you pick up a package of 3 steaks, it's $70, $80. I don't need them that thick. But they do have a much broader selection of meat. They've got they have so many different cuts and stuff that Sam's just doesn't have. And they do have pork belly all the time. So I need to run over there. Another $60 to rejoin Costco. And I'll buy some pork belly, and I will start smoking. I will start smoking away and see if I can't make bacon without the sugar, and see what the difference really is. But there's also a lot of recipes for pork belly that you can do, and you smoke it and then you finish it in the air, crisp it up in the air fryer, make cubes out of it. Those things are supposed to be like meat candy. So I'm going to try a lot of those different things for 2 reasons. Number one, they're more than likely very delicious. And number 2, gives me something to make a video about. It's a win-win. Carb Free for Life says, yes, I'm in a narrow boat and therefore doubt I'll be able to have my own smoker. Well, you got to figure out one way to put, if you can find room, put a small smoker down in the engine compartment, hook it up to the chimney or the exhaust stack from your engine, which I assume is a small diesel, and let the smoke come out there, and people will comment on just exactly how wonderful your engine smells compared to theirs. I say that, and that brings to mind a really funny story, and it's true. Back when I had my restaurant, we were a seafood place. We did grouper and chips, like fish and chips, but we used grouper. And it was battered with a batter made by a company called Drake's, which was fabulous. And it was, back then we thought canola oil was the healthiest, and we bought the most expensive called NutriFry. And we went through tons of cooking oil. And there were companies that would come around and buy the used cooking oil and convert it into diesel-like fuel and sell it to people who had their trucks converted to run on it. So one day I go outside when they're loading all this used cooking oil onto their big tank in this truck that, like I said, and that particular truck that had the big tank in it happened to have been converted to run on this used cooking oil-based fuel. And the exhaust, this is true, the exhaust smelled like French fries. I mean, it smelled exactly like French fries. Among all the cars, all the diesel-powered cars driving around, this particular truck was leaving behind the aroma of a Burger King. I thought that was the coolest thing. I wanted to do that. I wanted my car to smell like French fries. I figured maybe that'd be a good advertisement, make people hungry for fish and chips. So you could convert, they call that biodiesel. You could convert your narrowboat to run on biodiesel and smell like a French fry. Or you could get a small smoker, hook it up to your engine exhaust, and have people wondering whether or not you're running on biodiesel. That's my job. It's my job, thinking up crazy stuff like that. At any rate, that's a great, that appears, do you live on it full time? I mean, do you live on it and work somewhere, or are you constantly on the move? Like I've seen these guys on the YouTube videos that end up traveling around the entire country over the course of a year. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. It takes a certain kind of individual. And do you do it alone, or do you have a wife or family with you? Excuse me a second. And if any of you have no idea what we're talking about and don't know what a narrowboat is, just YouTube it. Just type YouTube narrowboats. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. I could probably do that, maybe for 6 months, but I think, knowing me, my been there, done that personality would probably kick in. Jerry Vajta says, thinking about heading to Orlando Summit, have to work Friday morning. Is there a schedule of speakers showing times they will be speaking each day? Would going just Saturday, but I know that you can go just Saturday, and they have, I know those things are expensive. I think I paid $125, and that was discounted for the 4-day admission. But they do have a just Saturday admission. They have a website, and they're, let me bring their website up here. Keto Orlando and Keto Orlando Summit. And here it is. And it says, brought to you by Salt with 2 T's, and Keto Chow is a platinum sponsor. We have 4 days and 19 hours till it starts. It starts on Thursday. 6th Annual Champions for Healthy Living, presented August 1st to August 4th. So the Saturday would be the 3rd, Friday be the 2nd. These are their speakers. We have Dr. Tro, Chris and Marion Bear, no idea. Erica Bell, no idea. Judy Kohlheim, no idea. Dr. Tro, heard of him. Dr. Tony Hampton, heard of him. Dr. Boz, Annette Bosworth, met her last year. Sweet, sweet woman. Dr. Ryan Lowry, don't know him. Robert Kiltz is going to be there. Everybody knows Robert Kiltz. I'm looking forward to meeting him. Keto Coach E. Ben Azadi, met him last year. Maria Emmerich is there. Most people know who she is. Temple Stewart. Joe and Rachel, 2 crazy ketos, if you've never heard of them. Ada Ramos, Cam Howard, Mary F. Daniels, Ilika Follett, Nathan Blitzer, Triple J, Angel Dobson. I have no clue who these people are. I doubt that I will go and listen to any of them, but I know that I'll probably end up striking up conversations with them. I'm not much for sitting through these people's lectures, not for any reason other than the fact I've probably heard what they had to say already, and That's not why I go to these things. I go to these things because last year I met Dave Feldman. I don't know if he'll be there this year, but Dave Feldman is the guy who's doing the lean mass hyperresponder studies. We spent hours sitting privately and talking to each other about what he's doing, the chemistry of the cholesterol, of lipoproteins. I understand how all that works. So we could actually, he and I could actually have intelligent, meaningful conversations on that subject of biochemistry, a subject that he's doing medical research on, even though he's not a doctor either. He's an engineer, and he has something called the Citizens Science Foundation. And he's teamed up with Nick Norwitz, and most of you know Nick Norwitz, and he's the kid that, I call him a kid because he's a kid. Almost everybody's a kid compared to me. He did that Oreo cookie versus statin study. He's a medical student now at Harvard. He's got a PhD already in some kind of biochemistry. And smart kid. Has a nice YouTube channel. Puts out technical and thought-provoking videos that most people who just want to know how to cook a steak aren't interested in. But he does well. He does well. Gets a lot of views. And there's always people like that there that I'll run into. I spent about an hour or two last year talking to a guy named Zane Griggs. You probably don't know who that is. But Ken Berry has a book called Kicking Ass Over 50. And Zane Griggs co-wrote that book with Ken. And I spent a lot of time talking to Zane. It was fascinating for both of us because we talked about a lot of deep shit, and that's why I go over there. Plus, I will revel on all the fans fawning over me, throwing compliments my way, stroking my ego. At any rate, let's see if we have a schedule here for you. I got to tell you, my friends, whoever did their website should be ashamed of himself. That's all I can say. Buy tickets. Do they have a price listed here for Saturday? Standard admission, VIP admission, the gala. Where is the Saturday only? I know they have that. I don't see it here. They still have the $125 thing. I would not suggest you go and pay $125 to get in and just see some speakers on Saturday, unless you really want to, because they charge you a bunch of money to park at that hotel. It's crazy. But I don't see event hotel gala itinerary. Does this show you the workshop presentation? Yes. If you go to that website, KetoOrlandoSummit.com, and you go up and hit itinerary on the top menu and go down, you will see workshop/presentations. And it tells you the times and the rooms. On Saturday, we have 9 a.m. Food Addiction by Nathan Bitzer. Q&A with your favorite social media personalities, Dr. Q&A. 12 to 12:45, Maria Emmerich, who teaches you how to cook keto shit. 1 to 1:45, Dr. Ryan Lowry. 2 to 2:45, Ben Azadi. 4 to 4:45, Keto Coach E and Topic TBA. I was going to say, who the hell is that? That means to be announced. 5 o'clock to 5:45, you get Boz and at Bosworth, topic to be announced. And 6 to 7, you get Dr. Tro. So the two actual bigger names. I didn't see Kiltz here. He might not be. He's got to be giving a speech. And then they have something on Sunday. They only have a couple, mostly involved with products like Keto Chow, Q&A panel. So that's it. I don't go for the excitement, but I go for the adoration. If the adoration doesn't come, I'm going to take my football and cameras and go home. Oh man, I hear it rumbling outside. I think we're going to get some rain here. Hopefully no power failures. If I disappear for some reason and you find yourself just looking at a blank screen with the chat still working, don't go away. I will have to do one of two things. If I have no power, I will grab my cell phone, log back into this live stream, and finish it on my cell phone. But it takes a minute or two to get all that done. But if I happen to go away, I will be back. I always tell people that whenever I hear thunder as anticipation of a power failure. Speaking of power failures, let me see if I have any more of these QQQs. It's raining. I hear it. Do you think you'll be making your own bacon? Got that one already. And if I go, I'll be sure to be on the lookout for you, says Jerry. Well, yeah, that'd be great. And Jerry, like I said the other night, if you go, email me. oldguycarnivore@gmail.com. Email me from your cell phone and tell me where you are, or I'll tell you where I am. But do not connect with me if you go. And that goes for anybody that happens to want to go there. And I'm not trying to push it. There's no reason for me to sell you on the idea of going there. But if you happen to go there, I would love to have the opportunity to meet you. At the Orlando Summit, are all the speakers in the same lecture hall? No, they have different little breakout rooms, and they do 2 or 3 of them at a time. Question, Aunt B, was at the beginning and when you stated got that one already? I think here's another one. Oh, okay, I think I managed to find all the QQQs. Yeah. I was going to tell you guys that, I bought that Amazon Prime Day special deal on that 1 kilowatt hour big battery backup thing, the EcoFlow. I checked the price recently. It's up probably about $100 from what I paid for it, but still almost 50% off. I put a link to it on my website. I finally got the thing. It took quite a while to get here. As long as anything's ever taken from Amazon. It took a week, more than a week. And it came FedEx, and probably one of the reasons is it's got so many batteries in it that requires a lot of special. They can't put them on airplanes. They have to truck them. And if it comes from California, it's got to come all the way across the country on a truck. So it finally got here. I opened it up. I recorded a little unboxing video. And for those of you, if anybody is curious as to what the hell has this got to do with Carnivore, it has a lot to do with Carnivore, as far as I'm concerned. But it also has a lot of other uses, too. We have frequent power failures here in Florida. Sometimes they last hours. When it comes to a hurricane and major damage, sometimes they can last for days. At Hurricane Matthew, at my son's house, the power was down for 10 full days. And for 10 days, he was running his house on a big generator that required constantly adding gas, checking oil. It was a pain in the ass. As a carnivore, I have a freezer, which is outside in my little workshop. It's a small freezer, 5 cubic feet. Those things are okay sometimes for up to a day if you just don't open the door. Things will stay frozen. but at least they're good for 12 hours. I calculated, based on the power draw and everything, that I could probably run that little freezer off of this backup power thing for almost a full day. A full day. And I also have a 220 watt solar panel coming for it. And I figured that with the solar panel plugged into this thing and a moderate amount of sunlight during the day, could probably run that little freezer indefinitely on it. So I'm in the process right now of filming a video. Right now, the little power supply is out there in the storage shed. The freezer is plugged into it. It's been running since about noon. You can look at the power supply and see how much current, how many watts whatever's plugged in are drawing, how many hours you got left on a charge if it continues to draw the same amount. But the thing about refrigerators and freezers is they turn on, the compressor turns on and off. So the amount of current it's drawing when it's on is not continuous. In fact, it's not even on half the time. So every hour, except the hour that I've been sitting here in the live stream, I'm going out on the hour and taking a picture of my watch underneath the display of this thing, showing what time it is now and how long I have left and what percentage of the battery I've used up, assuming there's nothing charging these batteries like a solar panel would. I'm trying to find out if I need a bigger one or if this one is adequate. There's two main uses that I envision for this. If I'm traveling, if I ever have to evacuate in a big hurricane and I have to take as much stuff as I can with me, I'll put this in my car, and at least I will have enough backup power to charge up the notebook computers and the cameras and the cell phones and everything else I need, and I can recharge this backup power thing from the car itself when I'm driving. If I have a live stream and I have a power failure in the middle, I'm going to have a way of quickly replugging my this whole mess, everything that's being powered here. I will have it down to one plug that I'll be able to yank out of the uninterruptible power supply I got now, plug into this thing, and that would probably power my computers for a good half a day just on that one unit. It weighs 30 pounds. It's not so heavy as it's going to hurt you lifting it. And for that kind of money, I thought it would be a very handy thing to have, and there might be a time, and I hope not, where something important might rely on it, like not losing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of food in a freezer. So I'm making videos about it. I've noticed in Amazon, I talked about it, and 5 or 6 people actually bought them because it's not just for carnivore, but as preserving your food has to be a very important carnivore associated use for a supply like that. And I was curious about them and also curious about solar. I've never had any experience or played around with solar in any way. And I know that the technology is improving all the time. The battery technology, mostly thanks to the electric car industry, advancements in battery technology, may be making some of this solar power battery generator combination things economically feasible, whereas the return on investment up to now has been dismal on those things. You'd spend $30,000-$40,000 to save $50 a month. that doesn't work out mathematically. So I'm going to be playing with that, trying to learn a little bit more about it. So let me see what we've got. You missed my question, says Linda G. How did I do that? How did I do that, Linda G? How did I miss your question? Where is your question? Let me type you in the search box. Linda L. Y-N-D-A, Linda G. Says thanks to Nick Sheeson. Linda G, late again, grr. Aunt B, thank you, I'm relieved. Nobody is issuing penalty payments. I'm looking for you, Linda. I'm looking for your question. I don't see a question from you. My come age says, how old are you? And Coco, hey Coco, didn't see you before. Coco chimed in. I'm 77. I was born May the 7th, 1947. Seems almost a century ago. So this last May 7th, I became 77 years old, which means I'm in my 78th year now, which means I'm officially in my late 70s. Any way to describe it that just makes me feel older, I'll figure it out. Delta 9 says, when are we going to arm wrestle? Bella Vista Farm, new to your channel. Do you have a video getting started, whether to work or jump in with both of you? I have many videos. I have 360 carnivore videos on my channel after I turned it from a drone channel with hundreds and hundreds of videos into a carnivore channel in the past year. And you could type into the YouTube or Google Old Guy Carnivore, first 30 days, something like that. They're out there. They're out there. I probably think that I'm probably going to create some more playlists, but that's a lot of work creating those things. But I think I'm going to create some playlists specifically for getting started. I have a playlist for cooking where all the recipes are. I have a playlist for rants where I bitch about everything. I have playlists called Carnivore Lifestyle, which is a general playlist. Old Guy Vlogs, which is basically where I do something and just talk, like walk or cook breakfast or something like that. But they're all out there. And just pick a subject, type Old Guy Carnivore, and then whatever that subject is, and you should come up with some videos. Let me try that for you, just for grins. Just for grins. So let's go to YouTube here. And go into the YouTube search and type Old Guy Carnivore. Right away in the YouTube search, it comes up with electrolytes, air fryer, chuck roast, sous vide, meatloaf, diet, ribs, steak, chicken wings, salmon, coffee, ground beef, first 30 days. So you didn't even have to ask it. It knows that there's something out there, first 30 days. So you click on that, and how to make the first 30 days of the carnivore diet easier, 2 simple rules. What to do for the first 30 days on a carnivore diet. You survived the first 30 days. What's next? How I overcame my carb addiction. And then a general link to my channel. So YouTube will find those for you if you search for them. But I've made a lot of videos on a lot of different subjects and tried to make the names descriptive enough so that you can find them, or they can be found in searches. So I hope that answers your question. And I'm just going to go down here and read the chat. An opinionated person will be trumped by another opinionated person. Stephen, yes, Stephen, that is true. Let me go way down to the bottom of the chat where all the stuff that you guys have been saying lately and deal with that for a few more minutes, and then it's pouring rain out there. We've been at this for over an hour and a half already. Charger Mopar says, Hurricane Andrew, we had power for over a month. I'm surprised you even had a house after that. Spanky's here, Golf Addict, Papa Carnivore. Where have you been, Golf Addict? Laser on Focus gives Golf Addict 20 push-ups. Arlene Blackwood is here. Hey, Arlene, how you doing? Do you have electricity now? We had a power outage for 52 hours this June. Yeah. I don't know if that's what our future is going to be all about. Hi all, how are you? Mitch says Golf Addict. Wow, 160 members. Yeah, this is. Oh, here it is, Linda G. There's a question. Oh, you repeat. Okay, good. You repeated it. Wow, that's great. I found it. 35,000 people love you. So why 2 to 3 morons have the power to disturb you? From now on, I absolutely forbid you to even think about quitting YouTube. Yes, ma'am, sir. I'll remember that. Thank you, Linda. Thank you. Let me drink a toast to you. Let me bring out my finest bubbly for that toast. It's a vintage. Wait a minute. It's a vintage San Pellegrino. What year is it? I can't tell. At any rate, thank you, Linda. Wait a minute. It's got a good nose. Terrific clarity. It's a good year, whatever it was. Or a good week. Dr. Kiltz is scheduled to speak 4:15 Friday. Oh, thank you, Jerry. Let me tell you something. I'm going to corral Kiltz in the hallway, and he and I are going to have a little talk about that. I think you should stop pushing ice cream on carb addicts. I don't care if it's guilt-free or not, but he's famous for that. He has his ice cream every day. I used to have ice cream every day and gain 10 pounds a month doing it because there was no way I could eat ice cream that had any sweetness to it without going for the real shit. I'm talking the Ben & Jerry's, the Haagen-Dazs, after a week of trying to fool my carb-addicted body into thinking that I was going to be happy and satisfied with that sugar-free nonsense. Better abstain from anything that even reminds you of what you were addicted to. It's another one of my strong points. I learned that because I discovered that that's what it did to me. Every lesson that I tell people that I think works, I learned because it's the first thing that ever worked for me. Likes to chat ratio is over 100%, Nick Sheeson says. Thank you, that's great. I never even look at that stuff. Arlene is talking about, we got a Honda 2200. I also have a little gasoline generator. I have one of those Harbor Freight 2,000 watt ones, and they work great for a power failure. They'll also work great to charge up this battery powered one. The good news about the battery powered one is you can actually take it in the house with you. So between the two generators, I'll probably be okay. The only time I'll be in trouble is if I have to evacuate for a week or my house gets blown away and destroyed, which is always a chance, even though this thing's been sitting here for 35 years. You never know. You never know. Golf Addict question, or actually a statement. Today is day 27 and I almost had a slushy, but in the back of my mind, I could hear Mitch's voice, drop it, sucker. You're damn right, man. Don't you dare Not if you got up to 27 days, don't you dare. That's why you should always have bacon and hamburgers with you at all times. I'm thinking about coming out with a line of meat holsters in the finest tooled leather that you can wear on your belt if you're a man, or keep in your purse if you're a lady, with the capacity to carry 8 strips of cooked bacon and 4 hamburger patties. Instantly available for you to stuff your face with should you have a craving that might lead you to a slushie. You think there's any money to be made in that? I doubt it. Is that Marilda Tuamalo was born on September 19th, 1947. Yes, my dear, we are close. We are close in age. And B, way to get things done. We all thank you for that. Hey, Mitch from Nova Scotia, just watched today's vid. Good to see you. Jennifer Marlowe, recognize that name, seen it many times. Thank you. Thank you. Arlene says, you go, Mitch. Love your channel and your attitude, and good times watching you, always inspiring me and all of us to keep moving on. Thank you so much. Linda is in charge of motivation for now, folks, says Nick Sheeson. Yes, ma'am. She's been promoted to colonel. And Aunt B seconds that. I do have one of the best communities, I think, of people on YouTube. Meat holster, aren't those? Crubera. Listen, my friend, if there's going to be any jokes, it's going to be, I'm telling them. No, really, that's funny. I don't care who you are. As Larry the Cable Guy says, I don't care who you are, that there's funny. Yeah, the meat holder. Hold my T-bone. Yeah. I'll leave it to you guys. Well, I'm down at the bottom of the chat. It's 4:45. I've been gone for an hour and 45 minutes. We are still at 95 people, and I thank you for that. But I think that I'm going to call it now. I think I left the window outside, one of the windows up in my screen porch, and everything's probably getting wet with this pouring rain. I'll go out there and check on that. And let me get us some exit music going on here. I think I got all the questions. If I missed any of them, very sorry. I'm trying. There it is. Laser on Focus says, thank you all, Golf Addict. Thanks, Mitch, as well to everyone. See you on the next one. Jennifer says, glad I caught a few minutes. Don't stop. Aunt B, thank you for your live today. Oh, Robert, I'm with you. I would eat ice cream by half a carton. It's crazy. It's crazy how addicted you can get to sugar and how much damage that stuff in every form does to us. Sue says, I have the best music. Wow, I just heard a big boom outside. Holy cow. Be well. Mitch, Scoff Addict says, eat meat. And you, my friends, that's the advice that I would give to you as well. So, until Tuesday night, 8:00 p.m. Eastern Time for the next live stream, I'll see you in my videos. Try to keep them interesting, and I'll try to keep them upbeat as I can. Allow me to blow off steam every once in a while. I appreciate it. And with that, take the rest of the day off and eat meat.